Unfortunately, I don't have a twin, so I can't do the study. I wish they were able to do this experiment with the vegan side that were compliant as I am or as Nimai is. I think that would have changed the numbers drastically. All right, welcome to the Fit Vegan Podcast. I'm your show host, Maxime, and I'm the founder and CEO of Fit Vegan Coaching, a company that is on a mission to help 10,000 people get lean, thrive, and reduce their risk of chronic illnesses by 2033 and 1 million by 2050. I believe that having a fit, healthy body and mind is the foundation to living an incredible life, and this is what the show will give you if you choose to listen and implement. Enjoy the episode and have a great day. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Vegan Podcast. Today, I wanted to share my thoughts on the new documentary, You Are What You Eat, a twin experiment with a good friend of mine, Nimai Delgado, that was in there coaching the twins. There's been a lot of not say backlash, but a lot of back and forth on how the experiment went. Ultimately, I think they did a really great job with the documentary showing the effects of eating a vegan diet, obviously on the environment and how it's changed on the world and how it's changed in their body. One of the main things that I think people talk about is the amount of muscle loss and muscle gain that happened in between the tweens, one that was omnivore and one that was vegan. So here's my personal opinion on it. They tell you at the end when they go over the numbers that the twin that ate the omnivore diet that ate meat, it gained more muscle mass, right, than the vegan one, which I was a little bit disappointed by the outcome, not because it's true, but because the twin that was vegan, either they weren't eating all of their food, which is really important when you're looking to put on some lean muscle mass, or they weren't complying with their strength training routine, which ultimately is the thing that's going to allow you to tear those muscle fibers and build them right back up, right? And so I wish the twin that was vegan actually stuck through with the workout, and it would have seen much better results in terms of gain of lean muscle mass. Ultimately, I think that they would have either tied the twin that was consuming meat or would have been potentially a little bit better. But even putting that aside, you can see that there was a decrease in visceral fat. There was an increase in sex drive for the ones that went vegan. There was still a decrease in body fat as well. And that was with a low compliance on strength training and on some of the twins that weren't consuming enough food. And so overall, the last missing piece of this experiment that the vegans didn't get was the fact that the omnivores gained more lean muscle mass, but that was only due to a compliance issue on the side of the people that were eating vegan for the duration of the 8 weeks. And so, the decrease in visceral fat was a huge one for people on the vegan side. The increase in sex drive was pretty significant. The decrease in body fat as well. They did a really good job on that. And then the muscle masses. I wish they were able to do this experiment with the vegan side that were compliant as I am or as Nimai is or as Robert Cheek or some of those vegan bodybuilders that you probably know of, because I think that would have changed the numbers drastically. Unfortunately, I don't have a twin, so I can't do the study. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the little documentary. I think they did a great job proving the point that from a health standpoint and from an environmental standpoint, it's a lot better to consume a whole food, plant-based diet. Again, it wasn't whole food fully. It was just vegan. They would have seen even better results if they did it whole food, plant-based, but they did see incredible results. And I think they have a strong case for demonstrating that a vegan diet is better from a health standpoint. Again, decreasing that number of visceral fat is extremely important. It's one thing to decrease your body fat percentage to look nicer, to look more toned, to look more fit, but ultimately decreasing that visceral body fat is the thing that's going to allow you to ensure that you're healthy for the long run. And so I think we did a great job from that front. I honestly believe that the vegan side would have been able to gain as much muscle or more if they would have been fully compliant with their strength training regimen and with consuming all the food. Because at the end of the day, like I say all the time to our members and on my master classes that I teach, if you don't, your body is an adaptation machine, right? It's always going to adapt to the stressor that you give it. And so if the stress that you give it in one of the twins, for example, was I was exercising, I was hiking, I was walking. That is one type of exercise, but it is not the type of exercise that will allow you to build lean muscle mass. It is not the type of exercise that will allow you to build stronger bones. It is not the type of exercise that's going to allow you to shift your body composition. It will keep your heart healthy, but it is not the thing that will allow you to ensure that you have more lean muscle mass, which, especially for some of the twins, as you get older, your ability to retain and lose lean muscle mass increases, right? Your ability to lose muscle mass increases and your ability to gain lean muscle mass decreases slightly. So it becomes harder and your body is more likely to lose it. That's why strength training is so important, because when you're giving it that stressor, you're basically telling your body like, hey, we are in an environment where we need more lean muscle mass to survive in this environment, right? And so if you're putting this controlled stressor on it with strength training, your body goes like, oh, I need more muscle to survive in this environment. Therefore, let me build muscle. But again, there's a few requirements that need to happen for you to build that muscle. You need to make sure you consume enough food so your body has the necessary energy to fulfill this process of building lean muscle. It needs to have the stressor to force your body to build muscle, because if your body doesn't have to, it won't just naturally build muscle by itself, right? If not, you could just lay on a couch all day and your body would put on muscle. That's the reason when you're a couch potato, your body loses lean muscle mass, because like, hey, we don't need this to survive. We are in a state of comfort and there's no reason for us to have more lean muscle. Ultimately, just the point that I want to make with this little podcast, it's going to be a quick one, but just a little review, is strength training is extremely important. Consistency with it is extremely important, because all we're doing is we're putting ourselves in a controlled environment where we're basically forcing our body to think that, hey, I need more lean muscle mass in order to survive in this environment. Because just imagine, we go back to the days where we were living in caves, right? And you have to lift rocks to kind of build your house or build whatever. And every day you were physically active in order for you to survive, right? Because you needed shelter, you needed food, you need to do everything. You need to work in the fields for agriculture and all that. Do you think that these people had more lean muscle mass and less body fat? They did, because their body was adjusting to their environment. But the issue with today's world is that there's a lot of things that have been made more comfortable. When you think of it, a lot of the companies that have been built, in the past like 50 plus years have been created to make things easier. Just got a really funny example, but I was talking with a good friend of mine about like loving to live in like 1980s, 1990s. I would absolutely love to go back to those times when things were simpler. We talk about Blockbuster versus Netflix. I remember the days where we had to go to Blockbuster and like you get to pick like one or two movies and then bring them home, and it was like something special, but there was effort. You had to like get out of your house, get into your car or walk there, rent a movie, come back and then bring it back. But on Netflix now you have access to hundreds and potentially thousands of movies without having to do anything. You just sit on your couch and scroll through it. Same thing with Uber, same thing with when elevators were invented versus using stairs. Like a lot of the companies and the changes that have happened have been made to simplify processes, but it's also made it so that humans don't have to put out as much effort to live their day-to-day life, right? We have Instacart. You can just get your groceries delivered to your house. You do not have to walk, get to your car, go to a grocery store, walk around the aisles. It sounds funny, but like that's a few hundred to potentially 1,000 steps. For example, if you're walking Costco, it's pretty big. It's probably like 1,000 steps that you're doing while you're grocery shopping. Like those things add up throughout the day, throughout your week, throughout your month, and throughout your year. And so anyways, that's just my thought on companies. They've been made to kind of simplify things, which is great. It's allowed us to have great tools that allow us to heal specific diseases, save lives. But it's also led to us being for it to be easier for us to be comfortable, because everything is you can pretty much do everything with your iPhone these days. And so anyways, strength training, very important. You need to create an environment where your body is forced to have more lean muscle mass, because if you don't create that environment for it, the body has no reason to change, right? And because everything is so comfortable, you have to willingly create it, because we don't live in the days, for the majority of people, where you have to go in the field and work the field so that you can have food for the rest of the year, right? A lot of us have access to grocery store, Uber Eats, Instacart, and all of these things. So that's why I love the gym, because it's a controlled environment where you get to put that additional stressor on you to kind of simulate what we used to do back in the day, right? So funny. We paid to go to a place to exercise when we used to get that for free back in the day, but we would work for our survival. Anyways, I went off on a little bit of a tangent. The documentary was great. I think they did a great job, but I also believe that the vegans could have put on more lean muscle mass if they'd have been more consistent with it, because everything else was much better on the vegan side. That was just the last missing point. So that's something that I would love to see if ever there are to do more episode or another experiment like that, is to get the vegans to be more consistent. I don't know if they could make it so that everyone lives in like a quarter for 8 weeks or whatever, and then they're like forced to exercise, kind of like The Biggest Loser, where the food is controlled, the exercise is controlled. There's kind of no way to escape it. We'd have seen greater results from the vegan side. So those are my little thoughts on the You Are What You Eat, the twin experiment on Netflix. I'm really happy that it came out because I think it's putting out a positive note for the vegan movement and to see the health differences that it can make. But definitely the muscle part was the part that I think most people bring up as a fear to transition. And I think they could have done a little bit of a better job on that side. So those are my thoughts. If you haven't watched the documentary, highly recommend that you do, because there's a lot of great other information within the documentary besides the muscle one. I just wanted to address that one, because, we're the Fit Vegan podcast. We help people shift their body composition. And I know it's a lot of people's fear when transitioning to eating plant-based. And yeah, obviously I think it would have gotten better health results if they went completely whole food plant-based. There's a lot of kind of fake meat within the meals that they use. But again, overall great experiment. Highly recommend that you watch the documentary, and thank you for staying tuned for this podcast episodes. We have a lot of amazing guests coming. It's crazy the amount of people that I've been able to record with, and I'm very excited to release these episodes. And as you probably saw, this is the first week of the year where we're releasing 2 podcast episodes a week, and the whole goal is to do that for the whole year. I have a goal this year to get as many downloads in 1 year that I've gotten in the first 3 years of recording the podcast. And so I'm very excited to kind of work on getting incredible guests, incredible value for all of you. So now every podcast will come out on Tuesday and on Thursday. So you can put that in your schedule or subscribe to be notified, whether you're on YouTube or on the podcast platform, because it's going to be coming to every single week. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.